All right, so let's take a look. Can everybody see the ES right now? Can everybody see the ES right now? Take a look at the ES right now. Let me show you something. The candle's going to close here right now, and it's going to have trouble getting any higher right now. It's going to have trouble. So let's go on your simulator and go short of 27, 26.75, only on your simulator with a 2-point stop. With a 2-point stop. Start taking profits at 1 point. Start taking profits at 1 point. Okay? I want to show you a couple things here. Now, as we're looking at this, what I want everyone to understand, and I want to make sure you're listening as you're doing on your simulator, I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. Trading is so much about the state of mind more than anything else. I've trained hundreds and hundreds of individuals on this methodology, and many, many, many are successful. But the reason the ones who aren't successful fail is because they don't believe in themselves. It has nothing to do with believing in me. When individuals and traders are in Rick's room, the only reason they come into a situation of hardship is because they're not listening. We haven't had a losing day in the call room in I can't tell you how long. That's pretty remarkable, and I'm sure everyone would agree. I want to thank everybody for taking some time out of their day to join me and join Rick, because what I'm about to tell you is special. I've been in the business now for 23 years. I've taken people who were making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year who hated their job. Okay, maybe some of you guys are in that situation, to becoming very, very successful people making $3, $4, $5 plus $100,000 a year. But it's not all about the money. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't be about the money. If you trade correctly, the money will follow. If you don't trade correctly, you don't have to worry about making money because you're going to lose your money. Would everyone agree with that, yes or no? Would everyone agree with what I just said? I know you're in this trade here, but I want to make, I want to make sure you're listening to me, okay? Now, if it goes down one more tick, could potentially go down to 2024, maybe 375, okay? But it's going to have a little bit of an issue here. So everybody booked a point so far. Am I right? Did everybody book a point so far? Okay. Did everybody book a point? If you wanted to, you could have booked a point, right? Okay. The direction of the market, right? The direction of the market. And make sure it's only on simulator, please. I'm not looking to make anybody rich today. Okay. Right after the close of this candle, right? So you have to ask yourselves a question. We have a lot of individuals in here, and I'm very happy. You have to ask yourself a question. Why are you in here right now? Pete, you've been to, I don't know how many of my webinars. I know you want to be successful. William, you've been to a lot of my webinars. A lot of you guys have. I want to make it so you make a decision for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones. Okay, I have a soon-to-be 13-year-old daughter. She says, "Daddy, you're awesome." And you know what? I'm not awesome. I'm just a good dad. I'm a shitty husband, but I'm a great dad. And I'm a great dad because I care. And as a trader, you have to care about what you're doing and why you're doing it, because you have other individuals you may be responsible for. A husband, a wife, your kids, okay? Maybe, you know, a mom or dad who didn't prepare properly, okay? These are very, very important issues. So what separates one individual who's successful from one individual who's not successful? Well, let's start with one thing that it's not. Luck. It's not luck. It's not luck. It's working hard and working smart. Understanding why you're taking the trade, where you're taking the trade, where you expect the trade to potentially go. Getting into a free trade situation. What do I mean? This is a rhetorical question. What do I mean when I say getting into a free trade situation? We always start taking profits at one point. We always start to take profits on the ES at one point. On the TF, we always start taking profits at one point. I'm going to make sure everybody understands that. Is everybody with me so far? We have a lot of people in here. So what that means is once you have the correct entry and you have a successful trade, the absolute worst thing that can happen on the trade is that you break, everybody give me that last part, you can break blank on the trade. That's right. Fantastic. And thank you for the participation. Many times I do webinars, whether it's, you know, for Ninja or many other companies that want me to speak for them. You know, many times people just don't participate, and I don't understand how hard it is to click the button. So far, remember, we're talking about making sure you're in for the right reasons, direction, so on and so forth. So far, this has gone down almost 3 points. The only thing in the way right now is what we call a ZL, okay? And that's something, of course, you learn when you learn the methodology. Now, with that ZL in place right now, could this, now you're short right now, only on simulator, okay? No real trades here with real money, because that would be a faux pas. This could potentially come up a little bit. If it gets back down here, ladies and gentlemen, to 2250, if it gets down here to 2250, is that right? Yeah, 2250, and you're going to see it shake, rattle, and roll, and then the market would come down at least to 21. Now these are thoughts that may be going through your mind right now. Well, what are you talking about? Where are you coming up with this? Okay. Where are you coming up with this? How do you know? How did you know, Sam, that after this green candle closed to get short? Good question. It's a great question. You know, great question. A lot of you guys are in the call room with Rick. Rick made a call at 11:24 in the morning. Well, look how far that trade. Kelly, you're in here. How far did that trade go? It went almost 13 points. Okay, and you captured 5-6 points of that, correct? And some other guys in here did as well. That's awesome. That's what it's about. You listened to Rick, you took action, and within a half hour or so, you made a lot of money. And you had fun doing it, correct? You know, whether it's Joel or Kelly or Andrew or Bernie or Evan, if I'm saying it wrong, please tell me, or Gary or Greg or Joel, John C., Lou, Luis, Milt, Pete, Rafa, Virgilio, who's been in many of my webinars, Steve S. C, Steve S. T, there's a lot of Steves, William, doesn't matter who it is. I want each and every one of you to be successful. And I will do whatever it takes for you to be successful. Any of my students will tell you that exact thing. And is everyone here because they want to be, and this is not a rhetorical question, it's a real honest question, is everyone here because they want to be a professional trader? Is everyone here because they want to be a professional trader? Because if the answer is no, and I'm just being very upfront and honest because I put a lot of time into what I do with my students. If the answer is no, please leave. Okay, and I don't say that to be mean. It's just don't waste your time. Okay, don't waste your time. There's a lot of individuals in here who don't want you to waste their time. Okay? There's some things I want you guys to write down. In the DNA room, okay, those who know the methodology, we trade 3 markets. Okay, we trade 3 markets. We trade the ES, we trade the TF, and we trade crude, the CL. And yes, you're looking at our trades today. Oh no, that's not real. That's all fake. No, that's all real. Just like the trade I called in here that I told you to make sure you take on simulator. If this gets down here to 2250, the trade that's up here, okay, whether or not you got in, you didn't get in, it doesn't matter. It's fake money. Who cares? Okay, but if it gets down here to 2250, it should come down to 21, and then if it has enough energy, it'll keep coming down. I'm not on a time schedule, okay? I'm not on a time schedule because I clear my calendar for you guys because I know how important your questions are going to be when you have them for me, okay? And I'm going to have time for your questions. And I'm also going to, for those who are going to tell me how much they really want to learn the methodology, I'm going to have time next week to work with those who are serious about learning the methodology, and I'm going to give you an hour of my time on the charts, and I'm going to make one at a time, and I'm going to show you what's happening with the marketplace, the way we trade, the DNA of trading. I'm going to actually show you exactly what we do, how we do it, why we do it. It's going to be one-on-one, and it's not going to cost you a dime, but don't waste my time. Okay. As we're watching this market, let's see how well we're listening. What happens on this short you're currently in? What happens if the market comes down to 2250? Where do we expect the market to go if it gets down to 2250? Which would make that trade at that point, 4 or 5 points. Where do we expect it to go? I gave you a number. Thank you. Good job, Andrew. 2021. If it doesn't come down here to 2250, it never will have an opportunity to come down to 21. Okay, very good. Now there's also a ZL and a TF. A ZL is a situation that I created, which unfortunately is a material change in the marketplace that will take the market for either a temporary amount of time or more than a temporary amount of time in the opposite direction that we're already in. So let's say you were in right now when I told you to get in right after that green candle. I would say be out of 80% of your contracts. There's a 70% chance this market comes back up to 675. There's a 40% chance it's going to come down to this 2250 to 21. And there's a 15% chance that it's going to come all the way down to 18. And I know you're sitting there right now going, what the heck's this guy talking about? Okay, it's all because there's a material, and please write it down, there's a material change in the marketplace. And what that means is that we have to exercise extreme caution because we don't want to give back to the market for the wrong reasons. We don't want to give back to the market for the wrong reasons, okay? So right now, you're wondering, if you're wondering why the market is stagnant right now, is because it's trying to figure out, you know, with the ZL, it's pushing it up a little bit, okay? If it grabs hold, and I know you can't see what I'm talking about, so I'm explaining it to you. It's trying to push its way up. We're short. You would be out of how many? What percentage of your contracts? 80. You'd be out of 80% of your contracts, and your stop would be at entry. Everybody with me? Just give me a quick why. I want to make sure everybody's with me. So your stop would be an entry. Very, very important. Your stop would be an entry. And we try our best. It's hard, and we're all agreeing on this. It's very, very difficult to hold a trade. Okay, but what we are very proud of at futurestradingcoach.com, Trading Made Easy, is that we hold a trade for as long as we possibly can until the market tells us to get out. In the case that I just laid out, if you were a 4-lot trader, you would have 1, potentially 2 contracts left. If you were a 2-lot trader, you would have to be out of the trade. Okay? So it depends on how many you have left. But you have to walk before you run. You've heard all of these sayings before, but most people, they don't know what they're doing out there, these mentors. Okay? Look where we're in the trade right now. If this thing comes down, if this trade comes down to this 2250, okay, where there's a 40% chance it will, roughly, it's coming down to 21. And then if it comes down to 21 with enough energy, it could potentially get down even lower. And this is how we trade. We trade based on the probability. And I know some of you guys are writing, I apologize if I'm going quickly. And in fact, if you need to ask me to repeat, we trade based on the probability of the methodology. Actually, there's going to be a recording, so you'll be fine. We trade based on the probability of the methodology. Okay, so it's trying its best to come down to our 2250. It's trying its best. The ZL is still in the way. Still in the way, but it's trying its best to come down. All right? Still a 40% chance that it's going to keep coming down. If you had 1 left, I would tell you hold it. Why? Because you're in and you already have, even if it was 650, you already have almost, not quite, 2 points made. Okay? So if it can get here, that would be super. 2250, then we come down to 21. Now, how do we identify, guys and gals, how do we identify our trades? I mean, what's it all about? Ron, you've been in a lot of my webinars too, okay? A lot of people haven't pulled the trigger. You've been jumping around all over the place looking. How do we figure out how to get into a trade? Well, we figure out how to get into a trade based on the proprietary methodology. Okay, do we utilize support and resistance? Absolutely. If we come down to resistance, come down to support, do we just buy the market? Absolutely not. The market, it would be an easy business. Write this down, please. We have 3 different core setups. We have an S play. We have an RS play. And we have a power play. They are the core setups. Is everybody ready for the other ones? I just want to make sure I'm not going too fast. Just give me a Y when you're ready, please. So we have an S play, a power play, and an RS play. Just give me a Y when you're done, please. Okay, I think everybody's done with that. Then we have a death candle trade. We have an understanding trade. These are all a higher level trade. We also have a playground trade. So that's already 6, 7 different setups. You should be very successful just trading the core setups. The trade that I got everyone into right here, that's called an RS. That's called an RS. Okay, it's called an RS. Which is the opposite of an S play, but that's neither here nor there. So right now, as we watch this trade, we're saying, well, gee, okay, I'm in here from 650, 675, whatever you got filled on. And you're saying, well, it would be really cool if it got down here to 2250 and then worked its way down to 21. That would be really cool because you're watching things in real time here, okay? Where everyone else does it after the market closes and they have their 7 o'clock webinars. Anybody can do a 7 o'clock webinar. What does that do for you, Rafa, Virgilio, Ron, Joe, Kel, right? Anyone will be and can be is successful after the fact. It's easy. It's like when you back test. How many of us in here have back tested? How many of us here have back tested your own way of trading? We all have, right? We've all back tested our own way of trading, and what have we found? We never lose. It's exhausting, yeah, absolutely. But we never lose. You go back and we go, wow, well, this one worked. Yep, that worked too. You never, it's like on simulator, right? You never lose on sim. Because if you're traded 2 contracts and you lose, you go, well, let me play a little game. It's called a head game. And you go, well, I'm going to put 5 on this one. We've all been there. I was there 23 years ago. Exactly, Stephen, exactly. And these are the things we do. These are the things we do. What I strongly recommend, suggest, is that when you learn the methodology, if that's something you decide to do down the road, and if it's still available, you work smart and you work extremely hard, diligent. You have to be very diligent, and you have to trust yourself. You have to make sure that you are correct for this. You are right for this. It's not a walk in the park. But I will tell you this, people ask me all the time, they go, hey Sam, how long does it take you, because I know everybody has this question, how long does it take you to learn the methodology? 1 month. The more important question, you see the ZL? The ZL's taking it right back to the entry. But not before you made money, see? So it takes about 1 month to learn the methodology. How long does it take to become proficient with the methodology? That's the most important question. Well, I mean, in other words, I get run over by a big truck and I die. How long does it take for you to be able to run with the method? And the answer is between 90 days and 2 years. And it's going to depend on your ability, your cognitive ability, and how hard and how much work you put into learning the methodology. You have to be a firm, pure believer. And if you're spending $7,000 to learn the methodology, I would think you would be doing that. Okay. And then to be in the DNA room, which is an additional fee. Well, then you're going to want to put the time in. So what is that time? 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's 15 hours of study time, studying the markets. And I mean when we're not all together. How many people in here, again, this will disqualify probably, 10 or 15%. How many people in here cannot put enough study time of 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week of what I would tell you to study? How many people would not be able to do that? Yes, Andrew, I do. I give you all the information you need to know to study. How many people would not be able to do that? Again, you don't have to type it in if you feel uncomfortable. If you can't do that, this is not for you. I'm not going to sit there and tell you a story. I don't need to. And you don't want me to. Many of you have been through the mill, okay? And the last thing I want to see is for you to go to the next guy who bounces off of this and plays bouncy ball and takes 10 trades, in the morning, and you lose. Is that beside? Yes, it is, William. Yeah. We trade in the DNA room. We start at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we go to noon. So yeah, that would be 3 hours, during your time. Now, why is that so important? Well, I'll tell you why it's so important. For those in here who have gone to college, you understand that it takes 4 years. That's without a master's, right? At least 4 years to get a degree. On top of that, you get out of school, then you're looking for a job. Well, by the time it's all said and done, may take you 2 or 3 years to find the right job and then settle in. You're talking 6 or 7 years out of your life. Okay, that's a long time. Personally, I think it's important for everybody to go to college. Okay, that's my personal opinion. But not everybody does, and that's okay. And if you have a skill, you utilize that skill. Plumber, locksmith, all of those good things. That's absolutely fine. But we are responsible. We are responsible to put in the time, to put in the effort. And the reason I'm beating this like a dead horse is because people lie to me. And it's very obvious that they're either not studying or they're not studying what I tell them to study. If you put in the time, I will not let you fail. If you put in the time, I will not allow you to fail. if you can't afford to be a trader, this is the wrong business for you. Okay, if you're going to open up an account with your broker for $2,000 and think you're going to become rich, it's not the right business for you. I'm not going to sit there and be like everyone else, because I'm not like everyone else. Success has a price. And in our case, the price is time. Other individuals out there, it's a lot more than just time. There's several individuals in here who are in the call room with Rick. And I know you had a good day. I'm not sure how many points the room made, but I know it was really, really good. And it's very, very odd that it's very, very rare that we have a bad day. It sounds almost like it's an untruth. It's a lie. But that's the reality. Because we're not just trying to go long or go short wherever. We have a reason. We have a reason. Just like in any other business, guys, and when I say guys, gals, guys, you can't be undercapitalized. You don't need to start with $1 million, don't get me wrong. But you can't start with nothing and expect to have everything. Does that make sense? No, I'm just trying to be really, really upfront and honest with everyone. Guys, does that make sense? Just give me a why if that makes sense, please. You know, if that makes sense, it would be fantastic if you would just, participate with that. Because it's a tough business. It's a tough business. Even when you know as much as I know and what Rick knows, it's a tough business. Because psychologically, emotionally, this business will ruin you if you're not successful. It could ruin your marriage, it can ruin your relationship with your children, your parents, and other loved ones in your family. And I think everyone in here knows exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want that to happen to anyone in here. I want you to be successful. I want you to understand why the market does what it does, how the markets work, when not to take a trade, when to take a trade, how to take a trade, why we take a trade when others aren't taking a trade. In a nutshell, the entire methodology is based around one thing. We do the opposite. And you can write this down. I mean, you're going to hear it on the recording, but I would write this down. We do the opposite of what most other traders do. We do the opposite of what most other traders do. And as you're writing that down, think about what I just said. Think about what I just said. Most other traders don't do very well. Well, if they're not doing very well and it's a herd mentality, meaning that most people do the same thing, like that market profile stuff, right? Like the market profile, which is just don't even get me started with that, okay? You need to understand how the markets work. What I do is I teach you how the markets work. Okay, I don't come in the morning and say, okay, guys, this is what the market's going to do. We react to what the market's doing or has done. Okay, This trade here that we called, this trade here was a direct reaction of what already happened in the market. And it went for a couple points so far, came back up and did what we call it, said hello. Okay. Very important to understand that. It's also very important to ask yourself this question. Am I mentally suitable? I'm very honest, okay? We have a lot of fun in the DNA room, but here, I want to really be serious. You have to ask yourself this question. Am I emotionally stable enough to be a trader full time? I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question for you. But I'm a firm believer in having a performance coach, especially in the beginning. Having somebody who's going to listen to you, believe in you, understand what you're going through. There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. As a matter of fact, the only thing a shortcut or something you perceive to be a shortcut will do for you is blow your entire account out. In the beginning, you need your hand held. You need to trust the methodology. You need to be able to trust yourself. And that comes by seeing the same thing work over and over and over again. It doesn't come with, well, gee, Sam said his method's the greatest thing in the world. Okay, obviously. When you see that something works over and over and over again, there's something to it. Regardless of whether or not you take a trade, that's a moot point. Because when you see a trade, the idea is to take the trade. And it's to try to hold the trade for as long as possible until there's a material change in the marketplace. Great question, Steve. Steve just asked a question. If you guys please shoot questions out. Please shoot questions. That's a good timing too. What Steve just asked me is, do you only look at the 3-minute chart, or do you look at other time frames and other type of charts like range, Renko, tick, and volume? No, 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 and no. We only use a 3-minute chart to trade. We don't use filter charts. We don't use all of those other things. We use a 3-minute chart. We don't use volume studies. We don't use any of that stuff. We trade price action. Okay? The more quote-unquote information you have on your chart, the less apt you are to ever take a trade. We go back to analysis paralysis. You've heard that expression before, right? And so on and so forth. You have individuals out there who are trading a 60-minute chart and a 5-minute chart. Very few people trade 3-minute charts. Most people out there, they're trading tick charts and 5-minute charts and 30-minute charts and the 60, and they're waiting for the 5 and the 30 and the 15 and the 60. They're waiting for everything to line up, like it's a constellation. They're waiting for everything to line up, and once everything lines up, of course, with the Bollinger Bands and all the other stuff that doesn't work, then they take a trade. But then you don't know why you really took the trade. You took the trade because it's in the middle of the Bollinger Band? What does that mean? You have to have a firm reason why you're in a trade. When we got into this trade, we had an absolute reason to be in that trade. Okay, there wasn't a, well, gee, what happens if? No, we get into the trade, and of course, as I said, only on simulation. Okay, we got the Fed coming out in 11 minutes. You get into the trade, we have a 2-point stop, which is 8 ticks. We start taking profits at 1 point, and we take profits along the way. You take some more off at 2, and then wait for a material change in the marketplace or a reason to get out of the trade. Okay, we had a ZL. That's a material change. And as I said, you'd be out of 80% of your contracts. And it was the right thing to say because that's exactly what happened. I also said that if we came down to 22.50 on this short, then we're certainly going to come down to 21. And we have another question here from Louise. Indeed. The indicators keep me out of a lot of trades. Yeah. Absolutely, Louise. Rafa, any advantage to trading a 3-minute chart instead of a 5-minute chart? Absolutely not, Rafa. Absolutely not. You could, if you could trade a 3-minute chart or a 5-minute chart or a 15-minute, doesn't matter. No advantage. I'm very comfortable with a 3-minute chart. It keeps enough of the noise away. Also gives me the opportunity for really nice entries. You're welcome. You're welcome. And what happens is, let's say you use a 15-minute chart. A, you're going to have less trades, which is common sense, right? That's number one. Number two, you may have to, and I don't trade, I trade a 3-minute chart, you may have to use a slightly larger stop. Well, I don't want to use a larger stop. I've been using 3-minute charts. That's what we use, and it works out very, very nicely. Works out very, very nicely. And it's not so much about the time frame, if I may. It's not so much about the time frame. Rafa and Louise and Steve, you know what it's about? May I say? Just trade the method. If you trade the method, you learn the S play, you learn the RS play, you learn the power play, right? You trade the method. How many people in here, and look, I would have to answer no if it was me. How many individuals in here could follow a set of rules? Be honest. How many? Give me a Y if you can follow rules. It's not easy. If you could follow rules. If you could follow a set of rules. If I said, okay, guys, this is what an S play looks like. This is what an RS play looks like. This is what a power play looks like. How many people think they can follow a very simple set of rules? We got a lot of people in here, and the answers are coming in, but they're taking a long time. Everybody said yes. Somebody said definitely. If you can follow a simple set of rules, and you're not a nutbag, and you're not an emotional mess, then you could be taught the methodology. The methodology is extremely simple, yet complex. It's getting in touch with yourself. It's understanding how your head works. Okay? It's also about doing the homework, putting in 15 hours a week every week. No shortcuts. What kind of nuts? No, I don't mean like, not like bipolar, nothing like that. What I mean by nuts or crazy is all you want to do is trade. You're the type of person where, where's the next trade? You get out of a trade and all of a sudden, well, do we have another setup, Sam? Sam, do we have another setup? No? Well, why not? Because we're still in the other trade. But I'm out of contracts. That's life, right? Nobody has an unlimited amount of contracts. So, in other words, we don't treat the markets like a casino. Okay, I don't look at what I do as a gamble, because it's not. Because the odds are always in my favor. Do I win on every trade? Absolutely not. Do I win on most of my trades? Absolutely. Do I allow my trades to run? You bet. Do I move my stop? No. Unless there's a material change in the marketplace. Then I get out of the trade. So many times if you're trading the ES and there's a material change in the marketplace, you should really average somewhere around 3 to 4 tick stop when it's all said and done, because there's a material change in the marketplace. There's a reason to get out. Now we have a ZL on the ES on the way down. Now just watch this. Watch this. If this is strong enough, it's going to come all the way down to 21. Do not do anything. Don't even take it on the simulator, because it happened right after this candle and I wasn't paying attention. This, if it has enough energy, it's going to come all the way down to 21. But watch, because there's a ZL right now. Oh, by the way, that's another one of our trades. Can you please write that down, guys? A ZL. Z, the letter, and then L. That's another one of our setups. Okay, again, that's a more advanced trade setup, okay? So you have a lot of setups. You have a lot of different setups, but you have 3 core setups. Okay, Andrew asked a very good question. He said, you don't move your stop. You mean trail my stop, Andrew? Is that what you mean, trail? I want to make sure I understand. Yeah, get risk-free. Yeah. And then as far as when you learn the methodology, well, you're in the call room. It's a whole different ballgame. No, we don't do that. Yeah, no. That's too much of a gamble, like 5 seconds after a trade. No, we don't do that. No, we don't do that. Yeah, we don't do that. You don't do it in there either. There were people in that room today who pulled out 15 plus points. Okay. So guys, watch this. Watch this. The ZL's pulling this puppy down, this trade down. If it has enough energy, I want you to watch this. If it has enough energy, it may make it down to 21. Now, we do have the Fed coming out here in 2 minutes, but I just want you to watch this. Now, when the Fed comes out, the market goes absolutely nuts. I'm sure you guys are aware of that, okay? You would never, ever trade on Fed day. Okay, that's just a gamble, and that's all that is. Anyone who trades on Fed day is not a trader, they're a gambler, okay? That's all they are, and that's very, very important. As we're watching this, and as we were watching the time here, what questions does anyone have? I want you to, if you have a question, James, do you have, is that James, who I trained a long time ago? Truman, what's going on, brother? How you doing? My God, people come out of the woodwork for this. How you doing? So watch this. If it has enough energy, it's going to come all the way down to 2021. Keep an eye on this. Okay. Now, there was no way, because I'm talking, I'm trying to educate you, to mention this for you to take it on your simulator. But watch what happens here. It's pretty cool. All right. Pretty cool stuff here. But you guys have to have some questions for me. Bernie, Evan, Gary, Greg, Jane, you know, I've got a lot of people in here. Louise, anybody. Louise is typing now. All right, the Fed's coming down to 45 seconds, which is going to be crazy. We trade price action. Correct, Louise. Correct. Absolutely. Now, see, now came to that 22.50, and it's got about 30 seconds to get to this 21. Let's see if it happens. It's all good stuff. Do most people first start? About 80%, but not everybody. You know, if somebody is really serious about wanting to be successful immediately, okay, then they go ahead and they just learn the methodology. But I would say 80+%, Steve. William, excuse me. Okay. You know, basically I screen you to see if it's something that's for you and so on and so forth. The 9 EMA has zero to do with anything, Steve. I wear glasses as I trade. The Fed's out, by the way. I wear glasses when I trade. I wear specialized anti-glare glasses because I use a 42-inch monitor. So I make sure that I can see the candles. I know that's going to sound pretty crazy, but it helps me keep my eyeballs on the candles. But there's no utility. There's no utilitarian use for those. Okay. Absolutely no use for that. So this is the Fed. Okay. We never ever trade the Fed news. Okay. I just want to make sure you understand that, Steve. So William, it all depends. Some people do, most people do, but those who truly can afford to learn the methodology, who really want to learn the methodology, you know, I have people all the time going, I'll take a leap of faith. You're not taking a leap of faith when you learn the methodology. You're coming in and you're truly learning the methodology one piece at a time. And by the way, just so everyone's aware, all trainings are one-on-one. There's no group training, okay? There is no group, it's one-on-one. It's me and you. Okay, is everybody with me there? It's me and you. It's not, you know, some person that's going to tell you this or that. It's me, okay? Very, very important. Who else has a question for me? Who else has a question for me? I know you said you can't open an account. I didn't say you can't open an account. I said it's not intelligent to do. And get rich. Approximately what size account would you open? Joel, the answer to that is, you know, between $5,000 and $10,000. Between a $5,000 and a $10,000 account. You know, a lot of people out there believe that they're just going to get rich. It's hard work, and it's not about getting rich. Okay, it's about a lifestyle. For the TF, we use a 20-tick stop and oil a 20-tick stop. For oil and the TF. So I want to make sure I answered that correctly for you, Joe. Between $5,000 and $10,000, you know, for starters, and let that build up, and then you can, as you're more and more successful, then you can go up in size as far as contracts. So we talk about that one-on-one. Yeah, we trade the ZN. Yep, we trade the ZN, the 10-year. You can trade anything you'd like with the methodology, but you first want to learn it. I think that's a great idea, Greg, and this is probably good for everyone. There are some companies out there, okay, I don't like to mention names of other companies because I'm just, I don't really know them intimately. There's companies out there that have who will fund you if you pass their rules and what have you. This is a fantastic methodology, and if you do well enough and you pass all their crazy rules, I'm sure that maybe they'll fund you. I don't know. I don't proclaim to know because it's not what I do. It's not what I do. Okay. We got a lot of questions coming in. I'm sorry, Kelly, what? Do you have to go through training before going to the DNA room? Yes, all my students are in the DNA room. My students are in the DNA room. Everybody goes through training before they're in there. Okay, here's a question. I have 0 training experience. Obviously, I like the benefits list of being a professional trader. How beginner are you willing to mentor? Do you know what a candlestick is? It's a great question, and it's an honest question. Well, do you know how to push? And I'm not being smart ass here. Do you know how to press the button to take an order and not take an order? Yvonne? If you're told, if you understand something, you were told to go long here. Okay. Okay. All right. So the answer is that would be fine. That would be fine. It's somebody when they know nothing about it. They don't know what a candlestick is. What platform are you using? Oh, I have a lot of retired individuals. I've trained people into their 80s. Oh, you're using Ninja? Perfect. Yeah, you'd be fine. Absolutely. You would absolutely be fine. And I love working with retired people because you really busted your chops to get to where you are. Okay, let's see. Louise, what platform do you trade the TF on? What platform? Or here on Ninja. I use Ninja. Louise? Okay. Ninja? All right. Take a sip of coffee. Here's the $1 million question. And I ask this question because it's important. Who truly, I'm going to ask it in a big way. The question is, who truly wants to learn my methodology one-on-one? And and when I say that, be honest. Don't waste your time, and because your time's important. Okay. Okay. It means you're willing to put in the work, because I'm a stickler for this. Okay. I am a stickler for making sure that an individual puts in the work. You have to work hard. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to become successful. So anyone who's answered yes, that's fantastic. Now, Bernie, you said no. Talk to me. And some people haven't answered, and that's, that's fine. Now, some people are in the call room, and that's fine. That's it's all good. But I always like to hear, oops, and then just scroll this down. Okay, yeah, Rick's here. Rick's here. Do you know what to do, William, to get in there with Rick? You've been in my webinars, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 times already. Okay, what you need to do, Rick, can you just come on and tell William or tell everybody? All right, thank you, Rick. Is everybody on board with what Rick just said about the call room? And Rick does a magnificent job in the call room. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, our goal is to make you, again, successful. Not everybody's going to be able to afford to be mentored, okay? And I'm not going to sit there and tell you to go ahead and take a home equity loan, okay? Because that's a wrong thing to do, okay? If you can afford it and you don't do it, it's probably going to be one of the greatest mistakes you've ever made, and you're going to look back at it, if this is really what you want to do. Nobody does what we do. I don't believe in testimonials, but those few that I allow on my site, they're audio testimonials. You could see the people. They pleaded with me, not like that, but they said, the people need to know. I mean, I've been through $40,000 or $50,000 with all these other people out there, and I learned nothing. You've changed my world. You've changed my life. I don't know how to thank you. That makes you feel pretty good. And what I tell people when they say that is I say, thank you so much for the kind words, but you put forth the effort, you took the risk. And if it wasn't for you taking the risk, you wouldn't be where you are. So give yourself credit. I'll take the credit as far as teaching you, getting you to where you need to be, and making sure that I'm with you every step of the way. I can't tell you how many days I'm on Skype with someone at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Sam, I need you to go over the S-play. Okay. Really? You mean now? Sure, why not? If I'm not busy? Sure. But it doesn't matter. Let's do it. If I'm going to be your mentor, I have to be there for you. I have to give you the skill set. And I will give you the skill set. I will teach you how the markets work. I will teach you how we trade. I will teach you the 3 core setups and then the others when they're applicable. But you don't need anything more than the core setups. Everything else is extra. Okay. Good question, Steve. How would you rank the ES, TF, and CL as the best trading? Well, I prefer personally the crude, which is the CL, then the TF, then the ES. Okay, but I've also, Steve, I've also been trading for a long time. Okay, half my life. Oh my gosh. I've been trading longer than that, but for futures, I've been trading half my life. Started trading stocks when I was 12, but that's a whole nother story. So you're, you know, it's whatever you want to learn on as far as being mentored on, because the method works on any market. If you say, Sam, I want to learn on the 6A, okay, well, we can do that. I'm not going to recommend it. But if you know, most people now are starting on crude or the ES. And once you have the foundation of the methodology down, you can trade any market. But it takes time, right? You have to build a confidence. You know, the more wins you have, you know, you put one in your belt, right? You know, you put it in your belt, and that's, you know, that's what it's about. That's what it's, you know, that's what it's about. That's fine, Steve. That's fine. The TF today was pretty good. We had a very nice, we didn't do much in it, but we had a very nice short here at 10.12. And then we had our long here at 11.24. And, you know, not too bad. And that's all we did on that. We had several trades here in the ES today. So it was, you know, it was a good day. And then on crude's getting ready to go below 44. And then on crude, we had a short here at 8.42. Yeah, we did have a trade earlier. We had a trade here at 6.15, but nobody was in the room except me. So that's why I don't have an arrow there. Okay, good question. Let me answer that question. And this is important. Sam, do you call all of the trades in the room? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's impossible to call every single trade. If I'm in a trade on crude, or if I'm in a trade on the ES, I'm focusing on my trade and I'm letting everybody else know about it. Does that make sense, guys? You know, so you're going to want to have, if you're trading, you know, if you're trading the ES, you're going to want to have that dome up, and you're also going to want to have, whether it's TF or crude, you're going to want to have 2 markets up at once. Okay? In the call room where Rick is, every trade is called. Does everybody understand that? I need to get a why. Every trade, thank you, James. Every trade is called in the call room. Every trade. That Rick, I mean, but in other words, you're not going to sit there and go, well, gee, what do I do here? Rick's going to say, all right, guys, we're looking to go long here, and you go long, or you do whatever you're going to do. I teach you the methodology. I call as many trades as I can. On average, we're going to have 3 calls per market per morning. All right, so that's on average 9. Sometimes we have 3, 5, you know, 4 or 5. It all depends. Okay. Again, I don't want to be redundant, but my goal is, as a mentor, is to make Yvonne, Andrew, Bernie, Gary, Greg, Joel, John, Kelly, Lawrence, Lou, Luis, Milt, Pete, Rafa, Virgilio, Ron, Steve, the other Steve, and the other Steve, Tony, William, is to try to make you the best traders possible. That's what I do. Now I'm going to put out an offer. I'm going to put out an offer, and it's good for today. Do never ever bring this up again. Okay? And I'm doing it because we have 183 people. But I'm asking you, okay? Don't bring this up again when I'm about to bring up. Okay? But you know, and everybody wants me to be upfront with them, and I'm going to be upfront with you. Okay? If you commit to learning the methodology, I'm going to have this up today and wire by end of, oops, by Wednesday of next week, okay, instead of $69.97. In other words, it's to save you $1,000, which, you know, I think to everybody it's a lot of money. I will let you come on board for $59.97. Okay. So what I would need for that is you to send me at samgo@bellsouth.net. Okay, that's my private email. What I would need for you to do is to send me, Sam, I want to learn the method, comma, please call me on Skype today at whatever time so we can discuss what is needed and how I can wire you the money to start. Okay. Also, very, very important. Also, very, very important. I monitor things very, very, very closely, okay, for everybody's safety. You are allowed to share the methodology with your immediate family, whether it's your wife or your husband or your kids. You are prohibited from sharing it with anyone else. And I think everybody knows what that means, okay? Very, very important. Okay. I've had a lot of people, not a lot of people, I've had 2 individuals over the years. It's only been 2. A third one that's been going on now for 4 years, where I had to unfortunately take everything they had because they shared the method. And even sharing the method, nobody's really going to understand it unless I teach it to them. But unfortunately, I had to basically take everything they had because they did something that wasn't right. Bernie, may I ask you a question? Thank you, Yvonne. And also Steve S. Fantastic. Thank you, Rick. Great question. Sam, that's a great question. Okay, good question. Sam, is with all the people that know your methodology, is it ever going to get, I'm going to paraphrase, is there ever going to get to a point where there's going to be too many people who know it where you're not going to be able to get into a trade? No. 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 No, 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 no. That's a good question, but no. No. Of all the individuals I trained, it's just like in anything else, you have, unfortunately, you have an 80-20 rule, right? You have individuals who are going to be successful, and then you have quitters. You got it, Bernie. You got it. Joel M. has a question coming in. Okay, fantastic. That is fantastic. Any other questions? I just want to make sure I'm very, very clear. I don't want anybody to, I don't like to mince words. I don't like to be not clear. I want to make sure that everybody understands that what I have is your best interest at mind to try to make you the best trader you could be. That's the guarantee I can make. Can't guarantee you're going to make tons of money because that would be a lie. Okay? If you work hard and work smart, you have a very, very good chance of this changing the way your life is. I'm not talking just necessarily financially. I'm talking about from the standpoint of your lifestyle. Yeah, the only other charges are is the DNA room, Joel, after the first month. Joel, okay? And that's $347 a month. That's the only other fee. Every webinar, I do a tremendous amount of webinars for my students. When I say webinar, it's not like this. I do it where we're learning. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of that. I work tirelessly, let me try to get that out, with all of my students all the time. A lot of them have been with me for many, many years. You know, every once in a while they just want to say, "Hey Sam, how you doing?" You know, it's the students, you know, from 3 to 4 to 5 months. They need a lot of work, and I'm willing to put forth that effort to get them to where they need to be. You know, hopefully that makes sense. If you have I do have a large number, Steve, because I only trade until noon. So then I'm training people. You know, I'm usually training a couple people during the day, and then maybe another one at night. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Thank you, Rick. The questions come in so quick. Yeah, husband and wife teams are the best. With a husband and wife, it's fantastic if you guys are able to be trained at the same time. It's like a twofer, right? 2 for 1. I mean, I don't charge the other. I recommend it because it's important for your husband or your wife to be in with you. You know, I recommend it. You know, I think it's important. I think it's really, really important. So if you have a husband or a wife and they want to learn, oh, heck, absolutely 100%. You want to have both of you there at the same time. You know, no offense to us guys, But women, they listen much better than we do. I didn't say that, did I? But they do. They really do. Women listen much, much better than us because we're a little bit hard-headed. But, you know, that's okay. So what I could say, you know, with surety is I'll be training students for the next 3 years. I can say that without question. I can't say after 3 years if I'm going to train any new students. And it's a long time, 3 years. You know, I get it. Okay, so I like to throw that out there. I'm going to be 50 in 3 years, and it's a lot of work to train a new student. I love doing it. It's a hell of a challenge. At the same time, it's a challenge for you. But success is infectious. And those who are successful know what I'm talking about. You know, we have some teachers in here. So you know exactly, you know, I am a teacher, right? I'm a mentor. And there's nothing like seeing somebody learn and getting it. And the light bulb goes on. Well, I've trained individuals all over the, that's my daughter. You want to hear my daughter? Hi, honey.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. I'm going to take a shower when I get home.
Okay, say hi to everybody on the webinar.
Hello.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm doing a webinar. I'll see you when you come home.
Okay, bye.
Love you. Bye. All right. See that? I'm a regular guy. So what's really, how late do you train? I live on the West Coast and have a daytime consulting gig. We have a lot of consultants. I mean, you know, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. I work around your schedule, Steve. That's not a problem. It's not a problem. 2 hours. The first week we'll do two 2-hour sessions. Then the third week we'll do a 1-hour session. Plus you're in the room, the DNA room with me. I do it the same way for everyone. Just make sure you have a very good pen and pencil and paper. And I go at your speed. I've been doing this for a long time, a very, very long time. And I have a lot of fun doing it. It's a lot of fun to watch success. It's a lot of fun to watch success. Okay? Okay. Ron, what's the story with you? Ron and Steve, Virgilio, any other questions that, and how long? 2 hours or more. I mean, you know, it's not like I have a time clock. Other daily. The second week we'll have one training session, and then as much as you need, Steve. As much as you need. I mean, my goal is to make you a successful trader. So if we need to, you know, go over this or go over what you saw, what you didn't see, you know, it's all good, yeah. And we make sure that it's penciled in so we're all ready for it and so on and so forth. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Ron. Go to futurestradingcoach.com. Rick will PM you, private message you. Go to futurestradingcoach.com and it says register for a free trial, 5-day free trial in Rick's room. Now, it's not so much that I want you to be a quick learner, Steve, which I'm sure you are, but I want you to be a succinct learner. But I like that you're a quick learner. That's good stuff. Okay? That's good stuff. Does anybody have any questions that they really want to get off their chest? Any questions where you're sitting there going, this guy's full of crap, or, yeah, I don't know, this doesn't sound right, or any questions? I try to do my best. Yes, Rick. Thanks, Rick. Does everybody see that, what Rick put in there? If you're already in the system, you know, we were not going to, I wasn't going to allow anyone to go and do another free trial, but, you know, I want you to be happy, and I want you to be successful. So, you know, that's important. The most important thing, that's okay, Gary. No, I mean, you're doing very well in the call room. I really wish you would take advantage of the opportunity. But, you know, it's all good. It's all good. It's absolutely all good. I know. There's some more questions coming in. Here's a question. Sam, can I pay for the DNA room, the monthly? Let me try to reword this. You said that the DNA room is $347 per month after the first month. That part's correct. Okay. Now the second part of that question, can I pay a year up front Bob, you know what? Contact me on that. I don't really like to do that because we use the system. We use the portal, and it's an accounting nightmare to do stuff like that. Okay? You know, 347, if you can't, between you, me, and the other 182 people who are still in here, if you can't make that happen, the method's not for you. Because if you can't make that back, plus, we got a big problem. Okay? So, you know, just being very upfront with you. I don't want anyone to do anything that's uncomfortable. But if you're not looking to learn the methodology right now due to a financial situation, join the call room. Okay? Louise, I think that's a great idea. That's fine. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, let me give you my Skype so you have it. Okay? It's TMESAMGOL. And this way we can all be in the same system here. Yeah, that's fine. Is it Yvonne? Am I saying it right? I am, okay. French? Little French going on there? Or am I off? Eastern Europe. Mom couldn't spell. That's funny. I know that's absolutely fine. So that's supposed to be Yvonne. Okay. Yeah, it's all good. So the goal is very simple. You know, if you're not looking right now to learn the methodology, at the very least, if you haven't already done it, join the call room. You know, start off with the free 5-day trial, then join the call room. Our batting average in there is ridiculously high. Rick is a great guy. Rick was obviously a student of mine. He's, you know, he always will be, but he's a lot more than that. Okay, he's a big part of my business. And, you know, it's important to understand that we're here to try to change your lifestyle. Okay? Yeah, the call room, Rick makes calls in the call room. Rick makes calls in the call room and says, okay, guys, we're looking to go long the S&P of blah, blah, blah. Or we're looking to go short, and he gives a price. Okay, Virgilio? And there's a link in there that you can go ahead and join the call room. The call room, in my opinion, and many others, is worth its weight in gold. Okay, you're not locked in. You could be in there for a month and say, you know what, this is horrible, and leave. Okay. The only reason anyone leaves the call room is to learn the methodology, or trading's just not for them. I mean, there's no other reason. Nobody leaves the call room because they don't like it. They either leave to move to the next level, or they leave because it's just not for them, trading. And it's not for everyone. I'm going to leave you guys with this. And remember, my email, samgo@bellsouth.net. It's right down there. Remember this, because it's extremely important to me, okay? Any questions that you're going to have, and some may be, you know, a little bit more in depth, I want to try to answer them for you, okay? I don't want you to do anything that isn't right for you. Trading is certainly not for everyone, okay? If you're looking to find a way to pay your rent or your mortgage, it's not for you, because you're always going to be worrying about what am I going to do if this happens or that happens. And I'm just being very upfront and honest, okay? Anyone else wouldn't even bring that up. They would say, yep, you're going to open an account with this, and you could do this, and you could. No, I'm not going to tell you that, because it's not true. If you have to trade with your mortgage money, then something doesn't work right. Well, you're not going to be able to pay your mortgage, and you're going to lose your house. So that's a no-no. I'm going to leave everyone with this last statement. I am available. Send me an email. I am available. Send me a Skype chat. I am available to answer any and all your questions that you have if you're looking to move forward, whether it's the call room, whether it's mentorship, which at this point, we already have enough people that, you know, it would be, you'd have to join the call room, okay, for at least for the next month, because it's just too many people at this point. With that being said, I want to wish everyone happy trading. Please don't, there's a lot of people also who did not have much to say today, and I understand it. Please don't let yourself get taken by some of these other individuals out there. Okay, stay away from market profile. Stay away from scalpers. These are bad things, and they're only bad things because you can't become successful scalping with 2 contracts, okay? You take a trade, you let the trade go. With that being said, I want to thank everyone for taking the time with me. Any questions, send me an email, Skype, whatever it may be. I'll be more than happy to speak with you. Until next time, thank you and have a great day, guys. Thank you so much.